and welcome everyone to the Blood on the Bayou, hosted by Adventure Begins. This is the finals. I am Josh, and I am joined today by Justin, and we are going to be bringing you the finals here of the first circuit event of Blood on the Bayou. And here in the finals, we have Nicholas Tran on Enigma versus Michael Ramsey on Aurora. Justin, how are you doing?
I am actually really excited for this matchup because I'm, watching two titans of the region. Michael Ramsey, I see as, one of the top players in Houston, like pretty undisputed, already a Blood on the Bayou champion here, bringing the first LO points on Aurora, the release weekend for Rosetta. And across the table from him is Nicholas Tran, who importantly is the number one rated player in Texas, just behind Brody Spurlock. And it's hard to compete with Brody, but being the number one behind, Mr. Worldwide is a huge achievement on its own. So to be able to see this matchup is actually pretty huge for me.
Yeah, we have some big names here, some very good players. It looks like they are shuffling up and getting ready to get this started here. I know those of you who have been watching competitive Flesh and Blood or even playing competitive Flesh and Blood, this is a matchup that you're no stranger to. The two best decks in the format, Aurora and Enigma, facing off once again in the finals. I'm excited to see Nick's build here. We've seen the evolution. We've talked about the evolution of Enigma and how it has gone from this very, very defensive deck, the quote-unquote protect the queen type deck or de-react deck, to something that's a lot more aggressive, sometimes even seeing Scar for Scars brought into it. And we have Michael here on Aurora, and he has shown us all day that he has been playing a good value game. I haven't seen the combo package come out of him, and I don't know if that's actually in his board or not. But just able to string together the 0 for 4s over and over again and keep the pressure up, blocking whenever he needs to, and finding his space.
We actually see the Tunic and Crown of Providence coming out from Michael, our higher seed. Let's see who is going first.
We'll see who gets the Tunic on first here.
Tunic. There we go. It'll be Nicholas Tran starting us off. Most likely starting to develop some board state, but something interesting, bringing the Tunic and Crown of Providence into the matchup says he is not leaning on the combo package that much. Flicker Wisp, sure to be seen in the list anyways, but really not going all in and just trying to get just good value breakpoint gameplay into an Enigma. Starting off pitching CNC and Fate for Scene to the bottom on a Spectral Manifestations. Probably one of the, more okay starts for Enigma. It's not setting up a Essence of Ancestry or anything, but getting a 4 go again on board already is a pretty nice start.
Yeah, definitely pretty good, because even if you empty the hand, you still get to swing with it. But Michael, starting off with the Ravenous Rabble, showing a snatch. Going to be, here we go. Starting the 0 for 4 train. Is that a Scar for Scar I see in Michael's hand?
Yes, Scar for Scar, Flittering Strike, or Flittering Charge, and sadly Skizzic stuck in the hand for Michael.
Yeah, the hand kind of awkward here to start off, but it doesn't take much for Aurora to be able to put together a pretty crazy hand. Nick gonna have this give a good think here on this 0 for 4 coming in, and decide if he needs to try and protect his little spectral shield.
Seeing a 0 for 4 on the first link of the combat chain, he's probably considering if he even just gives it up at this point.
Going to put down a block here of the Spears of Serality, and going to commit the Shelter from the Storm.
Yeah, covering up that breakpoint, nice and tidy, but also carrying over that extra damage prevention throughout the turn. saving his Spectral Shield for now.
And now, as Michael, if you know your hand is as awkward as it kind of feels right now, do you just say, hey, I'm not going to give you the value and just kind of move on? Doesn't look like he is, though.
Probably just seeing if he can maybe scrape by and clear that Spectral Shield, but it does not look like he's going to be able to. Just arsenaling the Scar for a Scar, surely getting value on it next turn. Moving on to Nick's turn.
All right, and Nick here looking to just send in his free 0 for 4, saying, look at me, I'm the Aurora now. And then, is he passing turn? He does. He passes turn, having the D-React in hand. Both players here starting off a little awkwardly until now. Arc Lightning coming out from the Aurora. Next card gets Go Again, and he has one of the best cards to do that to in a Snatch. One of the 3, or at least 2, core tenets of Flesh and Blood, which is give Snatch Go Again and pump CNC.
Arc Lightning already clearing off the Spectral Shield, deciding not to pitch to the Arcane Barrier this turn, probably just deciding he's not going to be able to protect it at this rate.
Yeah, sitting across from the Aurora, who has still 4 more cards left to come at you, you know that it's not going to be you know that there is still a lot in store. That one is going to be tough to cover, especially as they keep pinging you over and over with the Arc.
Probably deciding if he wants to use the Go Again on the Skizik versus the Snatch. Hopefully the Snatch not bled too bad, because that is a card you don't really want to give your opponent a heads up about.
He does decide the Skizik is the play here. I'm interested because not being an Aurora player, I'm wondering if the Skizik is just used to pitch to the Starfall, because it is a lightning card, right?
It is losing a total Go Again on the turn, I believe, but trying to get that extra bit of value out of the deck, pumping the Skizik, as opposed to trying to try to pitch it, get a little less value on this turn, when value in the deck total is probably a question you have to think about in the matchup.
Michael also could be thinking here, try and get him to commit any D-Reacts early in the chain, and then end with the Snatch as well, to try and get that through.
Showing the Flittering Charge on top, another 4 Go Again, but something we know about, the Scar for a Scar in Arsenal is now turned off. Using the Go Again on the Arc Lightning to pump the Skizik meant that not blocking the Skizik turned off the Scar for a Scar. So now it is just 4, no Go Again, with the Snatch still remaining in hand.
Seems really smart to me. Michael Preserve not trying to threaten a draw and IP himself. Just go ahead and end with the 0 for 4 and keep the Arsenal around. Seems pretty good. Not getting as much value off the Arc Lightning as maybe he could want, but still getting a D-React committed to that chain link.
Especially with Nicholas holding on to so many cards on that turn, there's probably such a low likelihood of the Snatch connecting. He decided to hold it for later when he can probably guarantee it a little bit better. A Preserve Tradition following up this Tenet to give it Go Again, making it a 3 for 5 Go Again, putting the Ripple Away back on bottom. Ripple Away having an interesting interaction with the new card from the Armory deck, Skyward Serenade. Classically, you want to play the Skyward Serenade to get the embodiment, but Ripple Away will deny your embodiment of lightning. Yeah, we're probably looking towards the end game to use that again.
And having the Transcend with the second tenet of Chi, Wind is giving it Go Again here, and then able to follow it up with the with the spectral shield that was created from the chi that transcended, and now coming in 29 playing 30. Michael here coming in, starting off with a, you've guessed it, 0 for 4.
Importantly, now there is a chi in deck making the traverse online, so as soon as Nicholas can find his manifestations of Mirror Guy, he can try to flip this head on this game with the massive tempo swing that the dragon provides. We need to see if he even finds it first. He's verifying the fused card, deciding if it's worth protecting the spectral shield.
Michael with a couple of electrostatic discharges in hand can definitely give the flittering charge go again. It has the snatch and arsenal, don't forget to cover it up. So by giving the flittering charge go again, able to pump the snatch. This turn could be pretty large here, especially with 2 electrostatic discharges. Have the snatch coming in for 10. Nicholas giving this a hard think here.
Giving snatch go again is pretty good, but pumping it to 10 is such a big ask for any player, even one that has the potential to be defensive like Enigma.
Yeah, it is definitely a difficult ask to try and block that much. Nick gonna take the Warmongers, and with that and the Spectral Shield going to cover all 4. Flittering Charge coming in again. Another 0 for 4. 29 playing 30 here at the finals of the Blood on the Bayou circuit. Electrostatic Discharge coming out to give the Flittering Charge go again. Tunic Resource.
Ooh, now the sword coming in off of the Tunic Resource for an extra, just a bit of cheeky damage just off of the Tunic Resource. Now we have the snatch coming down for 10.
The 10 power snatch coming in, and he did sneak, like you said, snuck in the 2. You know, that is these little bits of value are how you make it here into the finals. Michael having a laugh about it. Nick you can see it on his face like, are you excuse me, 10 snatch for 10? Yes.
We saw the sink below an arsenal, and even then that would be taking all cards away from Nicholas, but I believe I see the Rising Sun Setting Moon in hand, so with at least 1 non-block, there's a chance he can't even cover all 10.
That chi sometimes, it's the best whenever it's good, but man, can it hurt you whenever you need to block.
Trying to make every decision count at this point, because these players are playing for their share of the $500 prize pool, just trying to get a little bit extra to make it out to next event, and of course our circuit series points leading up to the Battle Harden and their share of our $2,000 final prize pool. That will be the snatch connecting, drawing a card destined for the arsenal, while Nicholas holds on to a Spectral Manifestations in the chi. So yeah, there was no blocking that out without using equipment kind of willy-nilly.
There it comes in, but he still gets the 0 for 4 value, and then the 1 value on the block as well. So still making good value trades, but definitely falling a little bit behind as the Aurora player at 25 and Enigma at 17. Moving on over to Michael, he is checking his graveyard, seeing what's left, making sure that he taking stock of exactly what's there, as Aurora does have to keep track of all the Skizzics now and make sure that they can find them. So anytime you see the Aurora player pick up their graveyard, they're probably counting their Skizzics.
If I saw the hand correctly, that is 2 electromagnetic somersaults with what I believe is a second Serenade.
Oh, that's it's gonna be spicy.
Skizzic, not really a card you want to put in hand to continue to play, but that means the second Serenade would be able to create the embodiment and +1 effect, and still get the buff off the Skizzik.
Seems pretty good. 0 for 5 go again.
Yeah. So if you thought 0 for 4 go again was good, how about 0 for 5?
Still an awkward breakpoint for most decks. It's actually probably even more awkward as you kind of get out of that 0 for 4 D react range.
0 for 4s being probably more common than they ever have, not just because of Shelter, but even before Hunted release, we saw a rise of just how many decks are running D-Reacts at this point. Didn't quite get to see what we drew off the Snatch last turn.
It looks like he just kind of just slid it straight into Arsenal. Didn't even consider it. Just
surely it's playable.
It can't be unplayable. Every card in this Aurora deck is a pretty safe Arsenal, I think.
Not quite catching what Nick has. I believe that is a Shelter from the Storm up there. Just going ahead, cutting his losses, letting go of the Spectral Shield.
Michael closing the chain.
Now the second Skyward Serenade. Embodiment, Skizzik. I'm curious what he plans to do with the 2 electromagnetic somersaults. Because as far as we can tell, his only target is going to be that Skizzik.
Maybe just the 0 for 6 D react. Just put it in Arsenal. Be able to pop things back. I'm not sure though. It is always an option though.
We're talking about how good 0 for 4 D reacts are. But what about 0 for 6?
You know, Aurora seems to have it all. Sync Blow gonna come in, try and fix the hand a little bit for Nicholas. And coming in again.
And that is what we are doing with the somersaults. It is Entwine Lightning or go again, seeing that it's about to be bounced back into hand.
And then I'm gonna bounce it back again, and then we're gonna bounce it back again. Could end up with it in Arsenal as well. Traverse coming out. Yes, Nick is going to look for the chi. So if you're sitting in the Aurora spot now, you see Traverse pushed in front of your attack here. Like, what are you trying to not end on an Arsenal and just push as hard as possible?
No, I think personally I'm trying to end with the Entwine and Arsenal, even though it's, kind of low value comparatively. I think that's even what Michael is thinking right now, if he even wants to show the somersault to give it go again. Yeah, it looks like he's holding on to the somersault, not giving Nicholas Tran any ideas of what might be happening. Make his blocks a little bit more questionable, because I would want to try to Arsenal the Entwine Lightning. Okay, he is fusing it. If I'm predicting a Mirror Guy coming down, I want to make sure I have an Arsenal to come back with as much power as I can. And I'm not sure Somersault is the Arsenal for something like that.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely want the offensive piece here, because we've seen Enigma on stream already and kind of seen, once the manifestations come down, you have to push into it and try to get it to go away and push through all the block that the Enigmas definitely have built in their deck. This is where the Enigma kind of turns into this Protect the Queen type deck of putting down the manifestations, swinging for 8, and saying, what can you do about it?
Even if the Protect the Queen status or strategy fails, they still just get to cash it in for such high value.
Yeah, it is a crazy card.
Michael thinking on if he is playing it, but no. Holding on to it to be able to try to clear out that Mirror Guy that much easier. At least what we are assuming is a Mirror Guy. That's the main reason why you would be cashing in the Traverse. I actually see I believe, Restless Coalescence in hand, the perfect partner to go with Mirror Guy. You see
There
Michael
is the Mirror
clearly
Guy.
trying to gear up for the clapback to deal with Mirror Guy. It's probably the perfect time to go ahead and cash in the Restless Coalescence. Deciding if he is going to pitch or just use the Tunic resource to swing the Mirror Guy. It is the Tunic, trying to hold back as much information as he can. And Michael not even thinking about it, taking the 8 damage from Mirror Guy.
As you do, take the 8. Transcending again, getting another chi in hand. Looking at all of these chi that were in hand, Nick wasn't gonna be able to block very well at all anyway. And now the free swing of a Spectral Shield coming in for 2.
Actually makes me curious what he will use the Restless Coalescence on, taking the counter from the Spectral Shield versus the Mirror Guy.
Oh, the Restless Coalescence, just as you said, this is brutal. Can make so many Spectral Shields off of this with the +1 counters. And it's this train that just kind of keeps going and can just start swinging tons of damage. Ends up putting 2 counters on the Restless Coalescence. Takes off 1 to put another Spectral Shield out.
Not actually having the resources to be able to swing the Restless Coalescence for 3, just taking a Spectral Shield and passing over to Michael. Taking the counter off the Mirror Guy kind of signals that he's ready to lose it this turn, seeing Michael prepared to take it. That Entwine Lightning we saw from last turn.
Entwine Lightning coming out, starting off the chain. The 0 for 4 go again, showing the current funnel. So you have the current funnel in hand, and you also have the Gone with the Flash. Does he have an instant to pop back the Gone with the Flash?
I did see an instant in hand, however, it is Lightning Press.
Oh.
Famously, no good synergy with Gone in a Flash. You cannot get the damage off of the Lightning Press onto the Gone in a Flash and still bounce it. So that is a bit of a non-bow there. Probably looking to play it on something like this Entwine Lightning, or maybe even, I believe the E-Strike was the last card in hand. Shelter from the Storm covering up this Entwine Lightning.
So Michael's still with puts the current funnel at the bottom. Okay, Michael's still with a lot of lines available to him as to when to use the Lightning Press. Now with an Electrostatic Discharge can be used to pop back the Gone in a Flash, but got rid of the resources to be able to pitch towards a embodiment of lightning. So
this is actually so sad to see on the draw. The perfect card to go with Gone in a Flash, the Electrostatic Discharge. It would be great to give Gone in a Flash go again with something like Snapdragon Scalers to be able to bounce it with the Electrostatic Discharge, but we do have to commit the Snapdragon Scalers to this Enlightened Strike to give it go again.
You gotta keep the chain going. Have it only 2 links wide so far, but gonna have at least a big pump. Now we can make sure I'm right here, Justin. We can play the Gone in a Flash, or we can play the Electrostatic Discharge, Gone in a Flash, now coming in for 7, and then press it and deny the trigger of bouncing back the Gone in a Flash, right?
Yes, and that's going to be a very surprising 10 for Nicholas Tran to have to deal with.
So again
just
ending on a 10 ball. Just Aurora saying, well, Enigma wants to be me and throw a 0 for 4 with your Spectral Shields. Well, I'll just be a Guardian and throw 10 at you. So
Aurora able to do some other things other than just 0 for 4s. Sometimes it's just 2 to 3 card 10.
It's no problem. Nicholas thinking about committing the flexors. Gives it go again. Snapping.
Seeing the Snapdragons come out, he decides he wants to commit the quick dodge flexors to try to make it easier to cover up this entwined lightning.
Efficiently using the Restless Coalescence, pulling off another Spectral Shield, getting just a little bit more ward and value out of it. This card, so like you mentioned earlier, just so good with a big mirror guy out. And here we go, saying, all right, I am going to give you a Gone in a Flash for 7. 1 card in hand.
What can you do about it?
It's so hard to block here, right? Just because it's so hard to call a Lightning Press. Maybe Aurora is just holding it for an Arsenal. It's a really tough position to be here as Enigma to try and preserve the whole board.
And something that was brought up pretty early on when talking about Enigma, especially more talking about draft, is just knowing when to try to hold them, knowing when to fold them, and he's probably considering it's just time to fold this mirror guy.
He does have a shelter though. What's the other card with the shelter? I missed it.
I believe Spectral Manifestations. It's hard to see at this angle, but if that is a 2 block, it means 1 damage would leak over, taking one of those Spectral Shields. He still has to think if he can commit enough resources to keep the mirror guy, or if he just lets it go and goes with a different plan.
I mean, so he does. If we count the ward on board, we have 3 Spectral Shields, and we have 2 in the Restless Coalescence. So that's 5 on board, and then I think he took 1. They take 1 off the mirror guy.
Yeah, it was 1 counter removed earlier. The Spectral Restless Coalescence and the Spectral Shield actually popped on the Enlightened Strike. So now we have Shelter from the Storm, Quick Dodge Flexors, and Spectral Shield. He thinks blocking 6, but it's that Lightning Press coming for the mirror guy now.
Well, because he had already committed the Spectral Manifestations, or is it still available to him?
The Spectral Manifestation's still in hand at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the. Now I've got all my Enigma wards confused.
Yes, the ones across from the Enlightened Strike already popped and committed to the block, just not cleared from the board.
Okay, there we go. So yes, you are correct. Coming for the mirror guy.
Still taking his time to think on, all the minute decisions that go into very close games like this. Even though it looks like Michael has a lead, Enigma has so many options to try to come back from a position like this. Like many illusionists, it's not over till it's over.
It's not over till you can get them down to actual 0, because there are times that you can have the Enigma just hold on at 1 and pseudo heal by putting out a big old ward 8, and then you're in a world of hurt. Let's see what Nick can do here from this position with 2 cards.
Actually swinging the Spectral Shield for 1 without go again, since there are no +1 counters. Michael deciding to cash in the Crown of Providence to maybe fix a bit of a clunky hand. That's all he had available to him. It's just the Chi and Spectral Manifestations. Spectral Manifestations, importantly, not getting the +1 counters if you already control an aura, means he didn't want to commit a whole card for 1 ward value.
I think it's a very... I really like this deck building from Michael, having the Crown of Providence. We've seen it now a couple of times where it's kind of bailed him out of a clunky hand, able to fix it a little bit. Opting that over the Face Purgatory, even though the deck has gotten some more non-attacks in it with Skyward Serenade, but still opting to go for the Crown of Providence. I think it's definitely it's worked out well for him today for sure.
Aurora not immune from the classic Runeblade problem of drawing not enough attacks to deal with the turn.
Not enough go
now
again
pitching,
sometimes, you know?
Pitching the current funnel for the funny one instead of using the Fiendal Spring Tunic, showing Channel Lightning Valley now. Taking the one, getting the drawn card into another current funnel.
Ooh. Really heavy on the blues. Didn't maybe just gonna have to pitch here to the grasp. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Do that. Set up a maybe set up an embodiment as well.
Actually, maybe reconsidering. There are some lines he's able to take on a weird hand like this in a card like Skyward Serenade. Instead, deciding to create the embodiment with the floating resources. Now it's going to be the Static Strike with Go again on hit 1 Arcane, threatening half of Nick's remaining life total.
Oh, this
Just
is
the
this
Skyward
the
Serenade.
Yellow coming in?
No, this is still the red Static Strike.
All right.
Yellow's not quite getting that deep into the barrel of tech choices.
Yeah, I was yeah, I don't know why. Eyes playing tricks on me. Yeah, the 4 go again here. Being able to deal 1 arcane as well. Current funnel also playing it out.
Ending on the current funnel, deciding that he still wants to chip in a little bit of damage, a little bit less than pitching for, or a little bit more than pitching for the Rune Chant, and arsenaling the Skyward Serenade to try to carry it over for next turn.
So next turn, it looks like Michael definitely trying to set up for next turn to push for lethal, with Nick now being at 4. And Michael at a comfortable 15 without seeing a manifestations down a mirror guy. I mean, he held the Ripple away. I'm wondering if he should have, Ripple away. Anyway, so he's bringing the 0 for 4 Spectral Shield. And swings a 0 for 4.
Following behind this is actually going to be one of the big powerhouses of Illusionist, Phantasmaclasm.
There it is. This card, 3 for 9, get to look at your opponent's hand so you know exactly what is coming for them, and also try and brick it up a little bit. Put one of the cards that they have on the bottom of their deck, but then they get to draw. So maybe you fix it, maybe you break their hand. But Phantasmaclasm, a really good skill ceiling card, I feel like.
There's actually kind of a couple choices, honestly, between the Burn Up Shock or something like the Static Shock. But he actually goes for the Scar for a Scar. Notably, if he no blocks the Phantasmaclasm, the Scar for a Scar would have Go again.
It's a really, really heads up play.
And it's the Arc Lightning drawn off the Phantasmaclasm.
Oh, yeah. If you're on Nick's side of the table and you see that come out next turn, you're just like, oh man, it's rough.
But having both the Burn Up Shock and the Arc Lightning available to him can really put Nick into a really bad point of deciding where he wants to commit his resources between pitching for the Arc Lightning or defending the attacks, and really making him second guess himself on everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of... And I also forgot that we have Channel Lightning Valley on the board.
A whole extra card that Nick is really going to have to, put a lot of resources to trying to deny.
That's good.
Michael deciding if he wants to give any blocks. Like we were saying, an illusionist is never dead until they're dead. So he needs to consider if he wants to preserve life here. Just going over all of the options for his turn, trying to make sure it's the most optimal line out of it.
We have Michael on Aurora going into Nick on Enigma. 11 playing 4 here in the Blood on the Bayou series. Here in the Blood on the Bayou circuit. In the finals. Trying to see who takes home the first place of the series for the points. Michael going to take all 9. Going down to 2. And
now,
see what he can do.
What is Nicholas thinking about here? With the one floating resource, the only thing he has available to him is that calming gesture.
Popping the calming gesture for another spectral shield. He doesn't know about the arc lightning, but he does lose his AB, right?
He has to think about the highest odds play on if getting this one extra life right here means he can come back with a hand to threaten this 2 life that Michael has left. But popping the calming gesture with the arc lightning in hand.
He doesn't know about it though, so he
saw there was no arc lightning.
Correct.
What are the odds? He draws exactly arc lightning.
And he knows it. He sees it now.
He is falling over in laughter.
He knows
after seeing the arc lightning.
After getting rid of his arcane barrier, here comes the arc lightning, taking the spectral shield. Here comes the burn up shock, taking away the other spectral shield that he had.
The arc lightning actually dealing 1 more damage here off of the go again. It would put Nicholas down to 3.
Not going to grasp yet.
Looking at his hand, but he can't pitch to arcane barrier anymore.
Yeah, the phantasmaclasm giveth, and the phantasmaclasm taketh away as well. Card is so strong.
I believe there's still the Skyward Serenade, so we can already count that 3 damage.
Skyward Serenade, like you said, coming in out of the arsenal. Giving go again, pinging 1 more time from the arc lightning.
Oh, actually picking the +1 mode instead of Skizzic. Now Static Strike coming down with the embodiment of lightning. The calming gesture, no!
The calming gesture, thinking that he needed the 1 health. And here it is, 5 go again. And going to deal another arcane damage. And with the go again, another arcane damage off the arc lightning. Blocks all 5 physical.
Somersault coming down. Picking it back up. Threatening the 1 more arcane. Now we get the sword coming out. In the grasp.
Michael making sure he cries. And that's it. That's it. Michael Ramsey taking down the first Blood on the Bayou series circuit here hosted at the Adventure Begins. He's back. He did it during Rosetta, putting the first points on Aurora, and now here he is again at this first series circuit getting the first place.
Michael Ramsey taking home yet another crown, my king. I cannot wait to see how the rest of this series turns out as he grabs the most amount of points available at this event. I can't wait to see how many more he can get. If he can get our prize of a free entry to the Battle Hardened paid by us, and then his share of the $2,000 prize pool we have at the end of the circuit, ending on the Battle Hardened in June.
Yes, I'm so excited to see. I hope that he does super well. And like you said, this is all leading up to World Tour Houston. We have a Battle Hardened coming in June. I hope that we can see you all there. And we have another Blood on the Bayou Series circuit coming up, hosted at the Adventure Begins. And it's going to be happening April 19th. Get out there, come out, have some fun, try and get some circuit points, try and get your points so you can get your metal fab token that has been customized for this event. And we hope that we can see you all there. Thank you so much. My name is Josh. This has been Justin. And we also have had Charles also casting with us. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys all take care.